Okay, it's about 1:30 in the morning. I was seriously going to go back to sleep. I'm having the weirdest thing where I even started thinking, I wonder if it's like the spirits waking me up. Yeah, it's the jolting me awake constantly. Because it keeps happening all the time. Even if it's in the middle of the day and I try and lay down. And plus the fact, like, usually I can just lay down and go to sleep. And like in one instant I'm asleep. And I used to not be one of those people. I has taken healing and stuff, but now I can just lay down and just out in 2 seconds. And but now this is like bringing me back to the olden days, because I'm just laying there and it's just like, it's just loud. It just keeps going. It's like it's crazy. And so last night I was doing that and I was just like, okay, override it, just go beyond it. And I did go to sleep, it seemed like, but it seems like I'm never really asleep. But then I'll jolt awake, and then I'll be in these weird dreams too. So many. And I know it's not dreams. I know we're just like off doing things and going. Like it just seems like a really busy time. But anyways, it was weird, and then I jolted awake, and so then I was like, oh, do the wood. So I started doing the wood, and then Stella's just laying there, just watching me, just completely calm, which I found out what the thing was. So I'm panicking about cancer. I always go to the worst, I swear to God. My kids tell me that all the time. I do. I've seen it now. I've seen it, but over a lot of times, not just this time. But it's like every time it's like, oh my God, you do go to the worst every time. But maybe that's part of like growing up and having a hypochondriac mom, just always pointing out the sickness stuff. Because I was, one thing I think that people need to think about too is, one thing that you get raised by a mom who's mean or cold, or, well, I guess it can go either way. You can choose, because you do have those two polarity realities. But if you choose, you can become empowered. You become stronger. If you don't become like trying to please her to get her love, if you just start going into your power, there's a lot of things where it was like, man, if my mom wouldn't have been the way she is, then I wouldn't be this way. And it is a lot of beneficial things. So you got to see, and then it pushes you to be stronger and to push through. When you have a mom who's just kind of cold, well, it can, because you can go the other way. There's the two polarities, there's to me, it always seems like it's the path to loving yourself or the path to learn to love yourself. So it's like both things have to do with, it's just one, you love yourself. And so you are directing the energy towards love. The other one, you're in a chaotic mess with energy because you are directing it to teach you to love yourself. So it's like you get all these lessons to teach you to love yourself. That's how I look at them. But, that's like today. Maybe, next week I'll look at it different. But there was some stuff. So then she kept staying up, and then she, oh yeah, because I wanted to say about her butt. So, she went to sleep the other night, and it was horrible all night long. It was like, oh my God, and she was pacing and panting. And I was like, oh my God, if this is bone cancer, it's going so fast. But that's what the people online kept saying. It goes so fast. I mean, for all of a sudden, this one limb to be hurting really bad, and her age, her size, all that stuff. And so, I was like, oh my gosh. But I kept thinking it was injured. And in my head, I kept seeing certain visions, certain visuals. And that's what I'm telling you, that they will lean you into something by keep showing you stuff in your head. And so, but then you have to take the action. Like they'll show you stuff in your head. And sometimes I'll catch myself like, it's like I'm seeing it, but I'm not taking action. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I'm going to take action. Okay, now I hear what you're saying. Okay, now I'm doing it. And so I had looked at her foot a bunch of times, but my eyes are not that great. And I kept thinking that she must have ran into something, because she had to have, that's what I kept thinking until I looked up the bone cancer thing. Then I got all stuck on that. But the injury thing, I kept thinking that seemed like what she did, that she was out there running around excited and just barreled into something and hurt herself. And so I kept thinking she had stubbed her toe, but then it was just getting worse and worse. And it was just making me so, like, I started having, like, I don't know, I think it's like PTSD or something of loss. I start like panicking or something because of losing Lucy. And it was so unexpected. I mean, she was just 13 months old. And, you know, she just went in to get the stupid neutered. And then comes home and dies in my arms. And so, and I know I raised Stella with that PTSD. I know a lot of people who have had loss, or, you know, with their child, and they changes how they parent their child. It changes. You're just like, oh my God, I don't want to feel that again. I don't want to feel that again. And so it's a whole different way of being. Anyways, so she, so I decided, you know, to listen. I kept given this vision in my head. I kept seeing that it was a story from when I was a kid, and it was this lion and the thorn, I think it's called, or something. But it was this lion who had a thorn in his paw, and that's the picture I kept getting in my head. And so I went over to look. So I thought, okay, maybe she has a thorn on her pad in between. Maybe there's a thorn there or something. Honey, you gotta just lay down, okay? I already started. 7 minutes in. You gotta just lay down. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna look at our paw and see if there's something stuck up in there. Maybe she stepped on something and I need to take it out. And so I got a flashlight in the morning, well, my little flashlight on my camera, and got my glasses, even though it's so blurry. I'm just like, well, I'm trying to see. And but with the flashlight, putting the strong light up there, because I can even see it with my bare eyes, but I can't see super detailed. I could see what was going on. So the furthest over toenail, she must have hit into the rock, but it didn't just break it and split it all the way back. So split all the way back. So her toenail is split in two. So it's like two, they're apart from each other like that. Then the skin thing, whatever that is, there's skin that goes inside their nail, is in there. And it was just like, so it's like a third character to the story. But then there kept being something that looked even stranger. So I pushed it. Because there's this other thing on her foot that looked like, man, is that a tick? Or is she growing a cyst right there? And so I was messing with that. And I had taken a match and lit it. Because if you light them, I used to see this on the farm. You light a match and then you let it go out. And then you take the heat part up to the tick. And if it's a tick, it will, when you touch it with the match, the heat thing, it will pop its head out. It will move so you can grab it. And so I was trying that old trick. And I was like, man, I think this is growth on her toe. But so when I was looking at the other one, I took that little match and I kind of did like that in the nail where it was like where these three characters are. And a pine cone came out. We have tons and tons of these little pine cones. So they're like about that big. And a pine cone was jammed up in there. And so that had to been hurting so bad. So I got that out. So that relieved some of it, but she won't let me cut it. And it's a long nail. And it's so crazy too, because just right before this happened, we were out walking and I kept noticing that nail. This is how they work. This is why I'm telling you. This is what you got to start noticing in your life. They're always communicating. Because so we went out walking, but my attention kept being drawn to this toe all of a sudden And I kept noticing the nail was long. And I was thinking, oh, I got to cut that. But that's the thing, see, where you'll get it and you'll have the information, but it's the follow through. That's why I keep saying it's like I've noticed that it's like they're training you to listen and do it, you know, stop. It's like a disconnect. And so anyways, I didn't cut the nail. And then it was for a couple days too. And so now I'm in this period of time always. This happens all the time where it's like, well, we told you, we showed you, we kept showing you, you weren't listening. This is the aftermath. This is the consequence. You could have cut it when we told you. And it's like, I know, I heard you, I get it, I see, I'm trying, I'm working on it. But it's your own self. It's not like they're mad at you or something. That's where a lot of people are just so wacky about this spiritual stuff, man. But you have like a team or something. Like if you imagine yourself in a video game and you've got the player, which I just saw this cool video and I had to watch it. So it was a gamer. There was a big gaming thing, Fortnite game thing, you know, where you win money or something. And it was funny because I just watched a movie where it had this in it. It was a movie, it was a new Christmas movie or something. It was one of those hokey feel-good movies. But no, maybe it was older because who was in it? But this had a brother in it. And he was a champion gamer. But he had to go hide over at his friend's house because he wasn't allowed to play his video games. So he had a whole setup over at his friend's house. And he had a persona, and he was well known, and everybody knew it. He was like way up at the top of the gaming thing because they'll compete. They have these contests. And so in the thing, it showed him going and having one. So I saw how it kind of worked. And so they go in to a game, and then they're all the different characters. So you are battling these top gamers. So I'll give you some more medicine. You are all the people in the game are top gamer battlers, and they're battling each other, and they're these contests. And so this was a real one. There was one that was just, oh my God, hold on. Why do you do this? You just sit there until I start doing something. It's like you gotta have all the attention. Here. And then let me finish what I'm doing, okay? Here. You just gotta lay there and relax. I told you I'd cut it off. My nose is running now. So this video is cool. So I knew what was going on from that movie. And so this was a TikTok that showed this kid who just won the Fortnite thing. He's like, I don't know, he's young. He's really young. And he's from some other country where he doesn't have a lot of money, or maybe he's from here and they just don't have a lot of money. But I don't know, just from his ethnicity, then you assume, well, he's probably not from here and he has no, so then you start thinking, well, maybe he's from Uruguay or someplace. I don't know. Seems like he was from somewhere else. And but it doesn't matter because you're playing on the thing, and it was showing him playing, and it was showing the game. So it was showing the game, and up at the top it shows him as the player, and he's going through, and he's up against all these top gamers, and he's like a little kid. He was really young. I don't know how old he was, but he looked like prepubescent. And so he in the game, he's running and jumping and shooting and doing all this stuff. Like, I was like, fuck, this kid is fast. He's just like, it's just like automatic, just boom, 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 not even stopping and thinking, you know. And he won. He beat all of the people. And he won like $900,000 or something to get his family out of poverty. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was so emotional and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. But I was like, how cool. But that is like the flipping. You know, that's like where the tables are turning. I'm seeing so much of the tables turning. Like there's all these different people stepping down from their positions from college, all sorts of stuff. And what is wacky to me is that you still see these people, as I just saw this one, And she was like, you know, always talking down to the people who believe in the letter or that anything's happening or this is a movie, which it was like I wasn't all into that group. But when I touched land on that surface, I was like, oh, this is real. Like, but you know, I think I'm in a very spare group. Like I used to was said from spiritual and healing and stuff, but now I would just classify myself as awakening. Oh my gosh. Just got to stop and let me finish doing what I'm doing, okay? We can deal with it later. Just go back to sleep. Stella, please let me do my stuff. Just lay there and go back to sleep. I will cut your nail off. I told you. It's just, so the bottom part now has come off. She won't let me cut it. And the top part is long and hanging. And she keeps licking it, which I keep trying to think, you know, I mean, on one part, I'm just so relieved it's not cancer, but it could still be. So I'm going to keep giving it just because that's the way they show you things. So it's like, I got to be on top of this ahead of time. And so, but, you know, I feel relieved right now. It's an injury. Oh my God, stop it. It's an injury. And, so I was thinking, out in nature, animals have got to get injured all the time. And they don't go to the vet. I mean, there's a whole thing now about the whole RABIES and the things that they get, that it is unnecessary and how many dogs it kills. And look at this. Like, oh my God, this is tripping me out. Like, it's turning so fast back to its regular color. And, man, I'm all over the place. Fuck. Okay, I'll have to clean up aisle 10, 11, and 12. Hold on. Let me think. Oh, damn. Yes, I'm like all over the place because the hair thing, I had a whole story on that. Oh my God. And I'm getting interrupted. And that is also is a thing that they do. Waking you up out of jarring you awake is another thing. Okay, just lay down here, okay? Man, oh man, oh man. But this is why I couldn't go back to sleep. This is why I was like, okay, let's just do this. And, okay, because the one video I had seen with the people, okay, so then it's like evaluate. What's the shortest thing? Okay, let's do the hair first. Well, I don't want to forget about these people, but, okay, let me try and link them all together. Okay, so this, so my hair it's tripping me out, you know, because I wasn't expecting that. Even when I had seen this stuff about the copper turning your hair, I was like, oh man, I like the silver. I want my hair to be silver. I think it's cool looking. And then I was like, but I kept seeing videos that would pop up. This is what they do. This is what the universe does. So they to me, like, I don't know. Everybody's got their own views of the algorithm. To me, it's a communication tool between the universe and me, or my higher self and me, or whatever. It's always bringing me stuff I need to see. I don't have to go out and search stuff. It just comes to me. And then sometimes, you know, I'll go past it, and then something will happen, and it will bring in something else. And then I'm like, oh, what was that other thing? And I'll have to go back and look then. But things come to me all the time. And that is how I think of it with life. And so I have been seeing more things about the copper. And whatever it was a couple weeks ago, I probably talked about it. I have no idea what it was. Or it could have been a couple months ago. I have no idea. But why I started using my copper cup all the time, being a lot more religiously. Like if you get a copper cup, you got to make sure the first time you fill it, you leave it overnight, you dump that, use it to water your plants. And so, because it's really, really strong. And I drank it because, you know, I didn't know. So I drank it and I got super sick. It's like some kind of copper toxicity or something. And it's, oh my God, you're so nauseous. Oh, I was so sick feeling. And so then, so I was kind of put off, you know, and I didn't drink out of it all the time. And so then it started being like, you know, once a week I would fill it, or if I didn't feel good, I would fill it. And so it was just kind of like, you know, oh, I don't feel good. I remember drinking some copper water make me feel better. And so doing it like that, but more sporadic. But I don't know what happened a couple of weeks ago when all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm going to use it out every day. And so, and I think it was something I had seen, some videos talking about something with our health and stuff. And so I'm going to use it all the time. And it's always like, oh, but my What if my hair turns away from silver? That'd be a bummer. It's like, oh, well, well, better to be healthy. And so then I had seen a video, like, I gotta put them all together because whatever it was, and I started drinking it every day. And then something else happened when I got the magnesium, and then I got the vitamin D. But so the magnesium, this is way longer than I thought it was gonna be. The magnesium and the copper work together, which I didn't know that either. And so the magnesium and the copper work together to turn your hair back to natural. But the whole thing is about your hair turning is because you are becoming deficient. So it's like your body is becoming deficient of copper, of zinc, of bromine, of all these different minerals, because your bones are actually not calcium. There's like 18 minerals, 65, like that lady that everybody follows. I saw a video of that, her talking about it. And so it's all these minerals, which that went with information my mom gave me a long while ago, that she was friends with a pharmacist, and he had told her that we have enzymes, that we need these enzymes. And as soon as you stop having these enzymes in your body, you just stop existing. You can't keep going. And we become depleted in these enzymes. And he would talk about this stuff to her. And so she would tell me things. And so it's just like that thing where you just stick it in a file, you stick it in your pocket, and then it comes back when it's needed. And it's like the seed is planted, and then you have the sprout to pull when you need it. And so then, so seeing these different things, and I was like, oh, that depletion of these elements, these enzymes, these minerals that we need, that they are what is aging. So we become deficient in them, and so we begin to age, because it's kind of like they've set it up too to start depleting, like stem cells and stuff. And so you start aging, but then they've got their whole creepy thing is they live off of other people's blood, which I'll tell you something that is so motherfucking creepy. And I have said this shit. Fuck, I'm all over the place. Oh God. Okay. There is a woman fighting in the courts right now because of her adopted child. Her adopted child died. Then she was taken by the court or something where the court had say all of a sudden. And so, and this woman's trying to fight this. Like, this is something off the news I had seen. She's outraged. It's so fucking sick. I can't even believe it. So the girl was already gone. She's already gone from the hospital. She's already passed. She's in the morgue. And this lady gets this court order that the courts are taking her lungs, her eyes, it's like 6 or 8 things out of her. Dead. Her spine. And they're viable for, like, that's what we need to know. What are you doing with all these? So this is, one of those things come to the surface because the woman's so outraged and she's going to court. It was out of her hands. But this is how the things have to work. This is why everything is so crazy and outrageous to come to the surface. Because, yeah, that's crazy. Like, I don't know who can listen to this and not go, like, why would they take old dead organ? Like, what? Anybody who knows anything about it, it's like, that's a whole thing. Like, they got to keep these people alive until they get and their whole thing about flying it over here. It's got to be alive. You got 1 hour in between and all this shit. Okay. So the enzymes are, when we become deficient in these minerals and enzymes and stuff, we cease, we die, we're aging. That's what's aging us, is this deterioration that we're unaware of, that we're just going on our daily business. Oh, I'm getting old. Yeah, I can't pick things up so well anymore. Yeah, I'm a little slower than I used to be. Yeah, that kind of shit. So that we just go with it. We don't try and stop. I still can't even, I haven't even told this story yet. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So, so I called my mom. I was talking to my mom. I think I did initiate this about the hair thing. Because I went in and I was going in to braid my hair. I was brushing it. It was like, oh my God, it is less gray than there was this morning. Like it's totally just disappearing. And it's just turning back. It's like feeling it. And I was putting my hair down and I was like right here where the lights light on it, the way it's coming, I think it makes it look more. But I was like doing this and I was like, oh my gosh, I have not been able to, this has been so white for so long. I was just like, oh my God, that is trippy. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that is so trippy. And in the mirror too, it doesn't have this whitish color. It looks more yellowish, not the gray hair that turns yellow. It looks like it's just filling back in with pigment, like it's in the process. And then it's doing it. It's like totally tripping me out, man. And so, when I was putting it all together, with the mineral loss and everything, and then how fast this is turning. And then I had seen the thing about it's the copper and the magnesium together. Like that is, your hair will start turning. But the thing is, your hair turning is a sign that you're deficient in these things. And so that you are aging unnecessarily. So you are putting yourself on a road towards death because you are not paying attention to what your body's signaling to you, that it's deficient in something. So it's like you need to see, like the silver isn't something good. It's something that's like, oh crap, I need some minerals and stuff. And so I just told my mom, and she did the same thing because I kept doing that too about, well, I really like my silver. And then, so I told her, and she's like, oh, well, I don't want to turn my hair back. I really like it. And I get compliments all the time. She's really pretty hair. She's a really pretty hair. And it's real salt and peppery, and it's got this white and gray. It's really silvery. It's really pretty. And she's like, I get compliments all the time. I don't want to turn my hair. It's like, because it becomes like your thing if your hair is looking good when you're getting older. And so many people damage their hair and keep trying to color and stuff. And she didn't do that. She didn't never do that. And she's always had thick hair. So even losing her hair, she still has a ton of hair. So all these old ladies who've been curling their hair and doing all this stuff, cutting it off, they're getting, their hair is looking more and more decrepit because that's how they're treating it. Like it doesn't have value. So she said, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to change my hair color. I get compliments and stuff. So then I started trying to explain to her, but I wasn't sure she was understanding what I was saying because it's a premature aging. You don't, and this is just shows me clearly that for my hair to be turning back so fast like that. I was like, oh my gosh, so we're totally deficient in these things. And then we just keep on going. And it's just slowly killing us as we dissolve these minerals, these enzymes, these stem cell, all this stuff. So anyways, I'm looking at it differently now. And the other thing that I was going to say that I was just like, oh my fucking God. Yesterday, I was just like, couldn't believe it. I was kind of pissed off and kind of ranty in my own mind. And so I was all excited. I was going to call that plastic. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go next week and go get a consultation. And then I'll just, wait and get the appointment whenever it is. So I'll just do the stuff, I'll just go over there, get the consultation. And the weather's not too horrible, which I think there is something about it changing. Like, I think we're in this change, this pole shift thing. Still, I'm doing this. What are you keep whining at me? She hasn't been whining all night. Just sitting there. But now, all of a sudden, as I start doing something, and I swear to God, it's some other force that starts irritating her to irritate me. And I had just seen a guy who was talking about the money thing. And every time he'd start talking, he started getting choked up, where he kept choking and choking. Like, what happens to me? He goes, I don't know what's going on. This is so weird. Because there is some sort of force. There's some sort of energy or something that's very disruptive. And will irritate your dogs. It will, like, all this stuff. So anyways, I decided I'm going to go get this consultation. I'll just drive over there. The weather is not that bad. I'll just go do it. I talked to my mom the day before and said, can I come stay? And so, she's like, sure. And so I felt like I'm making steps, like I'm moving towards, like you're manifesting something. You want something, you make steps towards it. All these people who think you just sit back and just think, just picture something and you take no action. You have to take action. You have to move towards what it is you want. And so I was called her and got that set up. And so I'm like, okay, and tomorrow morning I'll call him and I'll get my appointment and everything will be great. So I call him in the morning and I get a different person. And I didn't ask to talk to the other ones because that didn't go well, the other two people. So this was the third one now. And so she was snotty as a motherfucker. Anna or Ann or something. And she sounded older. To me, when I was talking to her, I thought she sounded older than me. And so she, so she wanted, she asked about the appointment thing, the consultation. And so I said that I wanted to make this consultation. So then it's $100. So a lot of doctors for a plastic surgeon, they don't charge for a consultation. I don't know. Maybe they're all charging now. Oh my God, Stella. God, maybe I have to stop and start again. I don't have any idea. I need to just cut the nail off, but she keeps yanking her hand. And it's like, no. But in nature, I keep feeling like this stuff happens and they do it like there's a natural thing that will happen. Her nail is drying up or it will fall off. And then it will feel so much better. And then it will have to grow back. But she won't let me cut it or anything. But I think she's already knocked the bottom part off. So now it's just that top part. It keeps moving. You know how bad it hurts. Like, fuck. So, thank you. So, anyways, so I'm talking to the lady and saying about this appointment. So she's like, okay, well, it's $100 for the consultation. I'm like, okay, fine. And so then she's like, okay, so there's some other things that I have to be required. And this is where I think they're going to start saying about this and stuff. What was the first one? It was some absurd thing about medical. I don't remember what it was. And so then I was like, okay. And then she goes the second, what is your BMI? You can't be over 30. If your BMI is over 30, she won't do it. And so I was like, I don't know, 20 or something. And she's like, well, just tell me how much you weigh. Tell me your size, and then I will tell you what your BMI is. And so I tell her, and then she goes, it's 18.5. Like, it's 18.5. I was like, okay. I'm like, I told you it was around 20. And then it's like, what is your problem, lady? And so then she goes, she asked me another question. And then she goes, okay, well, are you over 60? And I said, yeah, I'm 62. And she goes, oh, okay, well, you have to get a doctor's release. I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, you have to have your doctor has to send us saying that you're okay, you're healthy enough to have surgery. And I said, why would I'm fine. I don't like, and this is, mind you, this is to get a consultation, to meet this person face to face, which they are saying it has to be done and all this stuff, right? So to meet this person face to face, that I now have to have a doctor okay me to come and pay $100 to this person to look at my boobs and tell me if they can take my implants out in their office. And so then I start this argument, and this is why I said this woman sounded older to me than I feel like I sounded. And so I'm thinking, I'm arguing with this older woman, like maybe she's in her 40s and she just sounded old. I don't know. But so I'm arguing with this woman. It's like, So at 60 years old, that's just all of a sudden 60 years old, everybody suddenly you're sick, look at how, like, look at that, how there is, that is that set, because they know we're becoming deficient. They know the people are, getting sick by this certain point, getting elderly and stuff, because they're doing it on purpose. They know where they're coming up with a number. Oh, 60 years old. Oh, you're sick. You're sick for sure. Yeah, you're going to have a doctor's note. A doctor's note to come in and talk to a doctor? Are you fucking, what the fuck? So I'm trying to rationalize with this fucking robot crazy woman. And she's telling me, yeah, you got to have this doctor thing, and I said, well, I don't even go to the doctor. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't go to the doctor. I don't have any problems. And it's like, I don't even take medicine. I got nothing. I said, well, except low blood pressure, because that was one thing that I was going to tell him too, is I have really low blood pressure. And that's probably one of the reasons why during my colonoscopy that they weren't giving me medicine, because my blood pressure was going down so low. He was probably thinking I was on drugs or something, but that is just that I have super low blood pressure, and I just always have. And so, yeah, I don't want any more fucking, don't mess with it. Don't mess with me. It's like, no, it's not something that you fucking are supposed to fuck around with. It's like my body says, no, thank you. And so so she starts telling me, well, too bad, you have to get this doctor's note. And I said, so I'm supposed to go talk to my doctor and get something that I haven't seen them in years and have her send something. What is it she's supposed to send to you to tell you that I can get this surgery, and or to tell you I can be seen? And so she's like, said some else fucking bullshit and fucking script talk. And I was like, okay, so I haven't been there in a couple of years. Is there something else she's going to need then? Because I haven't even been there in a couple of years. So, I mean, because then it's easy. Oh, well, that's not very accurate. She hasn't even been seen. A lot can happen. A lot can happen in a fucking couple of weeks. A lot can happen, and look what they got going on this planet, like right now. So, of course, these doctors are fucking immoral, fucking just greed psychos. Like, they don't give a fuck, man. And so, she starts telling me, that I have to have this stuff. And no matter what I said, anything that was, like, logical, she was like, too bad. And then she goes, well, maybe we're just not a good fit for you. Maybe you need to find a different place. And so I just hung up on her. I was like, fuck you, lady. I mean, this is absurd. And then, and I mean, I just think about that. So if I'm over 60 and I'm saying that I've got health concerns from having plastic inside of my body, and we're like, well, keep it in there. You're too old to take it out. It's like, oh my God, damn. So, and then how one doctor has to have another doctor say, oh yeah, you could do it. Yeah, go ahead. Just look, and you don't even have a say anymore. You don't have a say over your own health. You can't say that you're healthy. So that's the thing going into their system. There's so much bullshit. Like, there's one thing after another. And so I was just like irritated. I was like, okay, we're just back on the med beds, I guess. So I was like, okay, I always have communication going. So I'm always following that. And I had stuff leaning me towards local. Like, when that was falling apart, I wasn't feeling like I wasn't going to be able to get it done. It seemed like I was going to be closer. But I wasn't sure. It's hard to, like, you're always translating this communication. And so I felt like, okay, well, I'll call one in Bellingham and see. So I called them, and the girl, I answered the phone. She was really nice, like the first girl. But she said she didn't know because she was new. It's like the new people, before they get their snot fucking dried up. And so the new girl, she said she'd go talk to the doctor because she didn't know. She didn't know that much about it. So then she went and talked to him. She said, no, he only does en blanc. They'll do en blanc. And so, and you have to go to their fucking surgical suite. What are you? Fucking, what kind of white trash hillbilly person are you? You expect you're going to get something done in an office? No, they got a surgical suite. It costs thousands of dollars to walk in there, and you will pay it. So it's like, fuck, I don't care. I'll pay your goddamn surgical fee. I'll pay your fucking whatever. Just take these things out of me with the local anesthesia. I don't give a good goddamn. Just take them out of me. And so, I call this when they finally call back, and through the afternoon, I was just like, oh my God, this is just so defeating. And just the stuff about the medical and just they just don't care. They don't care about people's health or any of that stuff. And you see these things, testimonials all the day long. It's all blowing up. It's all being shown. It's all being seen. So the girl calls back, and then she's like, he only does the en blanc and stuff. So I was just like, oh my God, just fuck it. I'll just have to wait for the med beds, and I'll just, I'm always telling the universe or whoever, I'm always telling them, like, I trust you guys. Like, if you're shutting doors, then, I'll just go with, but I kept on thinking to say something on TikTok, and that maybe I would make contact with some doctor or something. That kept kind of lurking. And so I did this video complaining about the doctors, and used the hashtag. I've used 4, I think, but I put explant in it. So I think I entered into that realm by doing that, because you just follow like what they say or whatever. And so I did that, and then a little while later, I was on there, and I saw a doctor named Kelly Calhoun or something, in Seattle. No, she's in LA. And she was talking, her video, she was talking about how mad it makes her that all these doctors with this en blanc, and how bad it is. And it's been proven in study after study after study that they do not need to go in and cut out this tissue. And I'm telling you, it only makes new tissue. It's retarded. It's like, are these doctors retarded? Like, what is wrong with them? They just are trying to look fancy to get paid extra. It's like, God damn, fucking ethical greed, or non-ethical greed. It's like, ugh, it's so disgusting. So she was talking about, and she's a plastic surgeon, and she said she doesn't do those because they don't need to be done. And the studies show over and over it's bad, that you shouldn't be doing it. And so I messaged her, and in the comments I said that I'm looking for a doctor and I said what I was looking for, if she had any recommendations. And so she messaged me right back. And so she told me, she gave me a name in Seattle and a couple in Portland. And I even told her, I'll come there if you'll do it. I'll fucking go to LA. And, which is scary right now. Like, look, everything is just like, man, everything is just like blowing up. And, so she gave me these names. So this morning I have somebody in Seattle. I'm going to call another lady. And, so I'm going to call her, and hopefully she is, because a lot of these plastic surgeons, these men, they just don't give a fuck. And even on one of them is said, does all this gender affirming care and stuff. I was like, oh my God, like, fuck, you just cut everything off these kids and stuff. And so, but you can't take plastic out of somebody who doesn't want it in them. It's like, man. So anyways, I still have hope for that this morning, to see when I talk to this lady, because I will fucking set up this consultation. I'll pay the fucking $100 if I have to go in to see. And then I was thinking, man, maybe it'll be way better. Maybe, that's what always happens. Like, I'm not a maybe. It always is like, no, everything will keep shutting. Like, everyone I talked to in that office, every door was shutting. And even when I felt like hopeless, like this was the only one I had found so far that would even think about doing it in their office, that they do some in their office. And I wanted to go stake my case. And, but so feeling that desperation was like, oh, is this all I got? And then it keeps shutting doors. And then it's always like, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing? Like, the desire is already there. The desire is already, I want these out. Like, it's like on my thoughts all the time. And so, and I'm moving in that direction. I'm making steps towards my goals. I'm going toward it, and I'm looking stuff up. I'm trying to find out and do stuff. And then, you know, and I know the med beds are at some point coming. I even heard some video that was talking about this new thing that is up ahead for us about this no more aging, and that it is going to be, because the med beds do this thing where it regenerates your cells, that we keep going back 25 years or something. So our cells keep regenerating. And so it is going to be like we get to a point of like 30 years old. We're like 30 years old just forever until we decide that we want to die, I guess. But you don't, because this aging isn't real. And so anyways, so we will go back to that. Oh, but this video that was some kind of science video or something, and it was saying in the next, like, I think it said 7 to 10 years, which I think it's going to be way sooner than that, because Nassar comes with all these patents being released. And I had just seen a thing with Nassar. This is the first one I've seen too. And well, I saw somebody say something about the debt clock. There's some weird thing with the debt clock again, saying something about Revelation. I don't know, something. And the religious people know, because a lot of the patriots are religious people. And then, you know, a lot of all the super spirits are on this other side. They all have whacked out colored hair and lots of makeup and stuff too. So, which is to me not spiritual, which makes no sense to me to call yourself spiritual and then to be so fake and phony. It's like weird. Okay, so the the word on the Nassar thing is that yesterday that all the banks were notified something. The person was saying, I'm not sure what it was, but there was something, and that they're saying that the redemption things are going to start being, like, we already have heard this before, but so I'm still going to share the dates because, you know, we always, it's like, oh, well, if we're sending our energy, why isn't it happening? Because it's already set when it's going to happen. So so this guy was saying that today there's going to be stuff that is going to go on, but he said it's by the 11th, whatever in this paperwork, there's something that has to be done by the 11th. And so they're saying that we're going to all be called into redemption centers. Like, we should all be expecting calls to start today and stuff, and be called. And so we'll see. Everything is headed in that direction. We will, I think it's really safe. Even though yesterday I was also making me nervous because I went out to get a package out of the thing, and I had some mail, and 2 of them are obviously legal things, occupant. I was like, why are they sending me something again? They've already said they're going to auction in March, so why would they be sending me something now? And I haven't opened them yet, because I was like, man, I don't want to give that energy. I don't want stress. I don't want to deal with that. I just got to deal with whatever. But anyways, I may look at them today and open them and see what it is. If they're saying, oh, well, we decided we're just going to sell it right now, because there's fuckery going on, and you just got to go with the whatever. And way more stuff too, with people talking about the land mass changes. There's way more people catching on to what's going on, but still, they're only like little parts and stuff. That once they all start putting so many more of the pieces together, but it's just, it's still getting the building blocks. It's like finding their blocks that they're building. It's like everybody has their own puzzle, their own story. So, and everybody's got to gather up their own stuff. So, anyway, okay, I gotta go to this girl. So, this was a duet that I had seen where the other girl, she's always like bold glamour. She's always, she just tends to be kind of hateful, snotty, divisive, just like kind of condescending, like, stupid liberals laughing and stuff like. But I think she's got a big part in the disclosure people or patriot people or whatever, because yesterday she did a video and she said, oh, thanks for noticing I haven't been on the lives. I've been really sick. I'm going to get surgery. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, to me, she has had one wake up thing after another. And now she's going to get into surgery. And I was like, man, she's had so many things. Her friend died, this stuff that her daughter keeps saying and stuff, and she just keeps, nothing's clicking. And now she's going to get surgery. I don't know, maybe nothing will go wrong. And then her dog, like she's had a lot of things where it's like, and she just keeps going with this bad attitude of being hateful. With this duet this morning was she was duetting another hateful person. This hateful person was saying about so I guess on Twitter, I'm not on Twitter, so apparently there's a big thing going on there, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's something about injuries and something about some realization that a whole bunch of people just all of a sudden had. And just what I was talking about before, where I kept saying this is where the anger is really going to come out, is when people start realizing that their family didn't have to go. And I said that's where we're going to see the most anger, I believe. And so it started on Twitter. It's like it's already going. And I'm not sure what the lead-in was, but something started it. And so you have all these people talking about it and people commenting and stuff. So this duet was just talking about, they were just so disgusted. Like, if you think you're going to find any kind of empathy from us, like you want to sit here and act like you're the victims now, you want to act like poor you want to, like, it's so, this is what I was talking about, like the I told you so group. It is going to turn around and slap them in the face so hard, you watch. Like, do not bring that fucking energy to the table. It is going to, man, because people think like you're fighting this other person. No, you're fighting your soul. Like you're showing your soul who you are. That's what you're doing. And you're showing yourself to be hateful and divisive, like no empathy, no compassion. And what does the awakening have to do with? I've been talking about this for a few years. It has to do with you starting to have empathy and compassion for people. That's why you got all these people who are like, I'm an empath. Well, I'm a psychic. Well, I'm a psychic medium. Well, I'm a channeler, like everybody. And so, it's a part of your connection. People are just slowly connecting, slowly plugging in to, spark up the generator, get it going, And so, because you are all these things. And so everybody's all these things. It depends on where you put your effort, where you put your skills or, practice. And so these people, and I know there's going to be this is just the start of them. And the hate, like they've just been sitting there, guns loaded, just waiting for somebody to say something, just trigger happy, just ready to just boom, 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 boom. That's like they just want to take people down. They just want to make people feel bad. They just want to tell them that they're stupid. And, well, you are hateful to me. Okay, well, so if somebody's hateful to you, and then you don't take that same action when you have the opportunity, and then everything flips. So then what happens is this person who is hateful see the error of their ways because everything is shown to them so completely? Or does the respondent now, who is happily shooting hate back at the other person, who is now taking over the hate to beat this person down, then is this person, then what is going to be, what is the point? What is the aftermath? What is the energy you're putting out? Like it is, you have to notice this stuff in yourself, because then the person who is doing that, they're going to have, they're creating their own karmic balance thing. It's like they have to feel what they are putting out. So what they're putting out has to come back to show them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know all the different ways that people are going to experience it, but they're going to be hit with their same energy. And so, yeah, going and being just hateful and judgmental to people, and to just mean, and then to be like, let's duet it, let's gang up, let's all show, I'm sure we'll see some of these where they'll have a duet of like 10 people all sitting there, you know, I second that. Yeah, me. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Man, all of a sudden I feel like I couldn't breathe for a sec. Hold on. It was like the air was just sucked out of my lungs. So, anyways, putting out that kind of energy is not what you want to be doing. And this is what I was talking about. And this is what you're going to see more of this. And that is that hatefulness is going to come back on these people. And it's going to be to show them themselves, like, where, you know, where's your holy side? Where's your caring, compassionate side? You know, and then this whole thing where these people like have no concept of really the programming, the indoctrination, the lower chakra, the whole setup, this whole environment. It is what, you know, you're here to learn. And the people who are just have like this nasty side don't realize that you're here to learn that you have a nasty side. You're here to see this nasty side in yourself. So when, you know, you see these people acting like that, you know, to me, I know what's coming. But it's just like, man, it's hard to see. It's hard to see that people are so nasty. You're talking about somebody not being smart enough, not paying good enough attention, or being scared, or trusting somebody or whatever. And now you are ridiculing them and putting them down, being a bully, being judgmental, being hateful. So it's like, man, I don't know. But all this stuff, see, everybody, people don't realize like this flipping thing, how it's going to be, how, like maybe we'll go in and we'll start getting money. Maybe it will be this gentle kind of flipping around. I think there's going to be some abrupt stuff. Yesterday it was helicopters going over here. There's all these different exploding. I mean, they've got shit going with volcanoes, with tsunamis, with earthquakes. The ring of fire is totally active. Like, there's so much going. And over by Japan, where they just had that big event, a new island popped up. So I'm telling you, this is all this shift, this landmass shifting. And where I've seen these other videos where these people are talking about it too. And some are showing like, you know, this land is just going to, there's going to be parts that are just going to be disappearing. A place to me where it seems the most safest, which I think that we're going to be led there, is, you know, in the two sections going down, it's like the bigger, thicker sections going down, which there's a lot going on in Alaska. There's a lot going on in Hawaii. There's a lot going on everywhere. Like, there's so much going on. Africa has got a new split. So it is split. Iceland has split. And I don't know how big or how severe. Africa, they are seeing a bunch of stuff. Because and that's the thing too, is in these this map, this naval map or whatever, it shows this stuff changing, and it's changing right now. So you got to pay attention to the part where you're at, that it's changing. And so the changes are coming. Like, it's just, you know, whoa. And oh yeah, there's this other video too, where you see these people are like, oh my God, you guys, you're so stupid. Why don't you just get it through your head? There is no one coming to save you. There is no letter. There is no this, there's no that, all this stuff. It's like, okay, so if there is no white hats, there's only dark. There's only dark hats in us. It's just humans against the dark hats, because half the fucking dark is the other humans. It's the humans that are taken over by the darkness. That so then if it's only just us in the darkness, then where are the arrests coming from? They just suddenly decided to start arresting themselves. They decided to start exposing themselves suddenly, like, oh, well, got nothing else to do. What are we going to do? Let's just arrest ourselves. Let's just take ourselves down. Let's just, you know, you got to see there's another force. There's two forces going. There's the one of light and one of dark. There's not like a savior coming in to save you. You got to be present in your present moment. You got to be whatever is going on. You've got to be active in your role. To me, I swear to God, so much of mine is to throw shade at the Western med, man, because, you know, all of my interactions with them, it's like, fuck. So I feel like I'm supposed to be saying this stuff. People are supposed to be hearing it. People are supposed to be knowing, like, there's a whole thing of all of these different failures, and there's all these voices and testimonials and stuff that is going to change it. I mean, there's going to be so many different class action lawsuits. There's going to be so much going on. Like, it's going to be very chaotic. If you can't handle chaos, you know, a wild party or something, if you can't handle it, then, you know, it's going to be rough because it's going to get wild. There's going to be a lot of craziness, I think. Oh, yeah. Yesterday, so I completed a 24-hour fast, but I don't know, maybe it's cheating. So I'll say it because I thought it was easier. So the day before, I ate until noon. And then at noon, I was like, well, I'm just not going to eat the rest of the day. I'll just not eat till tomorrow at noon. That would be 24-hour fast. Let's see if I can do that. So I did. So after noon, I stopped eating. So then you just have to make it through the rest of the day. Then all night, which I'm up all night, so I still had to make it through all night. And then the next day till noon. And so I thought it was easier. But I've seen now where I've seen this a bunch of times, but like a 24-hour one will do a certain amount of thing. A 36-hour one will do a certain amount of thing. 48-hour, you know, but it's like, I think it's 72 hours of not taking anything in, maybe just water, because I drink tea, or drink my powders, that all of every cell has regenerated itself. So if you could go 3 days, all your body is just like reset. And that is like the cure to so much disease, they say. So fasting, cleansing, detoxing, making sure that you're taking in these in minerals and enzymes. That's the whole thing. And the vibration and frequency, all those things are the real things about our health and stuff. And let me think, because there was a, yeah, because the white hat thing is like, what in the world? These people, oh, there's no white hats or nobody. It's like, then who's doing all these arrests? Like, who's doing all this taking down? It's like, this is really happening. Like, there's so many people stepping down, different officials, different college officials, different, all these people, CEOs. And I doubt that they're just stepping down. I am sure that there's arrests happening. There's a lot of people don't realize people out of their own families and stuff are involved in some crimes. And it may not be that they are actual criminals. It may be that they were witness or aware of certain things and just didn't say anything. Because there's so many. Like, just think of how many like journalists and stuff that have an awareness. How many celebrities have an awareness? Which there's a weird one going on right now too on Jimmy Kimmel. Because Aaron Rodgers was on live TV and called him out and said that he is probably really scared about the list, and that he said something. And so Jimmy has responded and said, he's never been there and stuff. And the thing to me is still like, this was an island that had parties all the time, big, huge parties, where people were flying in on airplanes, something that most of us don't know anything about. So and I have heard this from other people, like Cappy, like other people, like there can be huge parties, and you go to these big, Hollywood celebrity parties and stuff like that, and it's all different rooms. You could go in a room and everybody's just sitting there smoking and everybody's just drinking. You can go in a room and people are just doing it. And so I think that it is, a lot of these parties is like, what is that called? It is networking It's like to find certain people. And then plus they use it to get, you know, dark mail on people so that they can get control. So it depends on if there's something that they feel that they can use you for, you know, that, like, man, Madonna's on tour or something, and somebody was just showing a clip. I was like, oh my God, Chuck, you are embarrassing. Like, man, what will you do for money? Will you get down on your hands and knees and bark? Will you, like, God damn, I can't believe some of these people. It's like, God, it's totally lower yourself for money. It's just really gross. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just really gross. And so let me think back what I was talking about. So what was I talking about before Madonna? The people, the money, all of that. When the money thing starts going, see, that's gonna change all the stuff with the med beds. And I started thinking too, med beds are going to come fast. I think a lot of stuff about healing and stuff will come fast because there's going to be so much sickness. And you see, like, I don't know what's going on Twitter, I can't see it, but there's something going on about it. And so you can see how people are freaking out. And that is why I think that they will have to come in kind of quick with the med bed things to help people. So, honey, I can cut that nail off and make it better. Okay, so we're getting close to being an hour and a half anyways. It's always by then. Well, I always get uncomfortable anyways. I'm going to just blame it on her. It's like, I mean, it feels like there's a whole bunch more to talk about, but it's hard for me to, like, last night when I went to bed, it was like this whole thing was going in my head. It was like I was talking, it was like, oh my God, do I just get up and start doing it right now? I was like, no, I just want to go to sleep. And then I got up and I was like, man, what was I going to talk about? And then some of the stuff started coming back to me because it's whatever it's supposed to will come back to me. Yeah, and whenever I'm supposed to talk to, it'll just come in my head and I'll start talking about it and start talking about the things I've seen and stuff. But that doctor thing, I just couldn't even believe that. 60 years old and you have to have a doctor's note to go in to get a consultation. And that you can't even vouch for yourself. You can't even vouch for yourself. Well, I'll risk it. I'll risk the $100. You know, I'll come in and I'll risk it. She can evaluate me and see. Like, and even when she did my BMI and it was so far from what it was that she said, well, it can't be 30. And I was like, well, I'm sure the last time I did it was like 20 or something. And so I was like, I'm sure it's like 20. And then, like, I wasn't concerned about it. And then, but she was like, just the same thing as like with the age thing. It was like, it's like she's trying to find a reason for me not to be able to come. Like, this is weird. And I don't know. So apparently, if you are healthy and take care of yourself, then you can't, enter into get any kind of procedure at all. Even, and to me, it's so wild because I want nothing to do with Western medicine. But it's like, I got to get the, I've been on this healing holistic journey for, since I got my brain injury in '09. And so it's just been, and I've wanted these things out for so long, but see, that's been the whole thing the whole time, is these big surgeries they want to do, and that they want all cash. So they want like $8,500 to $10,000 cash up front to do this big surgery that doesn't even need to be done. And you can't have insurance on it or anything. And you just have to come up with the cash. And so, I mean, how was I going to come up with cash like that? And another thing too, ever since I had stopped working and stuff, and I've always gone in a direction of like figuring out what I'm going to do next. Like, I mean, I was going and making things and going to craft things and painting, like all sorts of stuff. And so it was always redirecting myself towards the independence. That started all the way back then too. And getting off of all the Western medicine. And that has been a whole step down process that I've shared on here of going through that, because it wasn't all, fast. It was a lot of different experiences, a lot of different things that happened after the brain injury. And so, but now it's to the point of this like last thing. Well, I think really the fillings, but I keep thinking, well, wouldn't silver be better if it's a natural thing? Like, I don't know. Like, if people were putting gold and silver in their mouths a long, long, long time ago, so maybe the silver isn't so bad. Maybe it is more of because there's bad stuff about root canals and stuff, but I can't remember. They do so much stuff that they shouldn't be doing, and it makes us sick. That's what I know. And so the meta. Oh yeah, because so that to me is like getting. It's like a completion. It's like part of the completion of my holistic journey, my healing journey, is to remove this artificial, and it has to do with the healing too, because all the process of going through and seeing like, oh my God, I was so insecure, and having to face all these parts of yourself and think about it and understand it. It's not like something where, you sit and feel bad and cry. Well, I mean, you can. It depends on where you're at in your healing journey. But to me, there's so much now where it's just like, it's an observation. It's just to go in and look at it and think about it and see and be like, yeah, man. And it makes you aware of yourself. So, but now to me, it's like it's like a final episode to get these things out, So I do want to get them out, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'll see what the door opens or closes today with this Seattle lady. I hope I can go in and get him out. Hopefully next week I could go in and get him out. Hopefully it is in a price range that my check will cover, and I could go in and get it done. And I will feel like, man, huge steps being towards my independence and my health. I bet you that all this joint pain and stuff starts going away right after I get them out, because reading about like that impulse syndrome and stuff, impulse syndrome, the implant syndrome, that all of the symptoms and stuff. So I think that a lot of my symptoms will go away once I get them out. I've seen where other people have said some people said it was immediately they could tell a difference in their body. And a lot of people, it was over a couple hours, a couple days. But anyways, oh my God, I can't believe how much it's like it can become obsessive thinking where you have to try and control your thoughts. Like, is everything, don't forget, is about you controlling you. You could get yourself spinning out emotionally. I could lose it. You got to keep reeling yourself in. You got to keep pulling yourself back to center and using like an understanding and trust. Like, everything is going to work out fine. I know I'm going to get him out. I don't know how or when or what's going to go down. I know I'm going to get him out. And so, you just got to kind of go with the flow. When a door opens, you see what happens. And when it closes, you just got to let it go. And in that one, it took me a couple times from the one doctor in Spokane where I finally let it close. But that lady yesterday, yeah, she was the cherry on the fucking thing. Especially when she started talking about my age, 62. I'm too old and too sickly. I'm probably too fat and too unhealthy. And it's like, oh my God. Because even if you were, even if you were, I don't know. Because their whole thing with the BMI is full of holes anyways. Because it's your bone structure and your muscle mass. We don't all have the same bone type. We don't all have the same muscle mass. Like I have got thin, long bones. I've got long, thin bones, and I don't have a lot of muscle mass. So, yeah, I'm what is that called? Thin bone, skin and bones. I'm not that bad, but anyways, that's like my normal body type. If I go and try and eat, like, to me, like, I don't even understand like how I could eat, because now how I eat just seems like regular, like normal. Like, and sometimes like I can eat 3 times in a day. I eat all different. And just eat when I'm hungry. I'll eat. And I don't know, because some of the stuff I think that I eat that people think like, oh, well, you can't, I couldn't eat that. I just be fat. Because I eat a lot of bread and butter, pizza, muffins, cookies, and I eat a lot of that kind of stuff. But I think it's because it's homemade, and not drinking alcohol, and not drinking out, and not going out to restaurants. I don't go out to restaurants and eat. So I think those things make a difference. I think that the eating out and just drinking 1 glass of wine a day makes a big difference. And I think it can make a 45-pound difference. And so I think that you can eat a lot more of the things that you want to eat, but I think you need to make them yourself. And I'm seeing way more people now, just not even talking about the grossness of the restaurants, but the food quality. And what was it? Oh, Olive Garden is now an employee is speaking out because we're so disgusted. So in Olive Garden, that their chicken is the canned chicken. The canned chicken is so sickening, because I have a can of it as I get it at the food bank, and I keep it in the cabinet for when if something were to go down. I was like, so I had some food in a can for her. And so I open it. It's gross. And that's what they use at Olive Garden for their chicken dishes. Their cheese that they use is some weird cheese that they don't even know what the hell it is. And oh, they're bags of salad. So they get bags of salad that are full of bugs. And a lot of times they have to pull out caterpillars and bugs out of their salad, because you always get that bottomless salad. I think I've been to Olive Garden like once, like 20 years ago or something. I've never really well, for one thing, I like Mexican food, but I've never really liked those kind of restaurants. But I've gone to Red Robin a lot of times. Red Robin, is one of the chain restaurant. But Applebee's, or what is that one? Applebee's is a chain restaurant. Fridays is a chain. I've been to a lot of chain restaurants. Fridays, Applebee's. But Olive Garden, it's just I'm not into Italian food anyways. But I don't really like where people are like, oh, I just love Olive Garden. And I'm really like, well, wouldn't there be like more of a mom and pop kind of Italian restaurant that you could go to next to your house, where you would think, man, this is good. Like, we have some of those around here. There's one that I even want to go to. I'm not even into Italian food. It's really cool. And it's out like by itself, and it's really cool looking. It's like, and the whole time I've been out here, well, the first year, there was a lot of but then quarantine happened, but they've stayed open. They're still open. And they don't have anyways, I don't get, why would you pick a chain if that was your favorite kind of food and stuff like that? I don't know. But so many people now, though, are complaining about the food quality, the price of it. So the restaurant industry and the servers and the tips, like all this stuff is being what people are talking about. Like all this stuff about tips and stuff. People are being really pissed about tips lately. And there's just this constant, both sides being played out all the time. When you go like on TikTok, or I'm sure on Twitter or anything, you see this like both sides arguing. It's like this debate. You're in the middle of it, and both sides are saying their piece. And the whole thing is like, yeah, you've got some good ideas, but we can't stand over here yelling our ideas at each other. We got to come together and just blend. You can have your ideas, I can have my ideas. We can try and do this and blend some. It's going to go as far as you can go. If you can't, get along with people, then where are you going to find yourself? So you have to figure out how to get along with people. And all these people just want to sit around and bitch and complain and argue and fight and say they're right and they're wrong. And then it's already, the nastiness is already coming out. And and then how fucking low too, man. Like, people are fucking dying. Like, people are losing loved ones from this. And then you want to just kick them when they're down and sit there and say snotty stuff. Like, man, I'm telling you, there's going to be some fuck. And I bet you there's going to be some big accounts that are just showing a real ugly side of themselves. I saw somebody who was doing a video, and I can't remember what this one was. Oh, this one was a girl. She was talking about this guy sent her a long text, breaking up with her. He didn't want to see her anymore. So she's like, oh my God, starts reading the text over TikTok. She's going to read it, and she's doing like real Orson Welles-ish, like reading his text or something to make fun of it. And, but to me, I was like, you're reacting. Are you really listening? Because, he's saying, you're great, I like you and everything, and it's just not happening. We're just not getting that vibe. And so I think you're really great. And I'm even questioning myself, like, why don't I like a great person? What is wrong with me, So he's like being really honest, being really vulnerable, being truthful. And she's making fun of him online, plus exposing herself and her own insecurities. Because to me, it's like, it looks kind of foolish. Like, this person is trying to, just say, hey, I don't want to see you anymore. And now you're turning it into this thing and making fun of him. Like, to me, it sounded like he was just being honest. And, isn't that what we want? We want people to say, hey, I'm not feeling it. And so many people just keep pushing just to not be alone. They think, oh, well, we can just make a relationship work. No, it has to do with vibration. That's why all these relationships are not working, because they're not based on vibration. They're based on attraction. And we're shifting gears. So yeah, all these relationships are all going to fall apart because there's nothing else. If your relationship is falling apart, then there wasn't really any substance to it. It was artificial. We weren't solid. And, there's something better for me. There's something that it will take me in a better direction. There's the other parts of myself to see. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have things fall apart. Things have to fall apart to take you into the new part. That's why all this shit is falling apart right now. It can't go on. And there's so many people, like, when they start realizing that we're in this period of time of all these cataclysms and stuff, they keep feeling like, well, there's no hope. We're all going to just die. It's like, no, you got to start realizing you're eternal. You're eternal. Quit getting caught up in the story. Quit getting caught up in the storyline, in the place, in the light, all this stuff. Start busting free from that, because it's not. It is, we're in a game, and you're eternal, and it's like you got to keep yourself alive. You got to see, so, and even some of these spiritual people, like, well, I don't see any future. I just see the end. And, this is, because there's so many. They don't even know what to do or say at this point. And so, it's like some of them I think are going. I don't think, like I said, I think a lot of these people who think that they're all super spirits, all age of Aquarius and stuff, I don't think that they are there for it, because they would be seeing it. They'd be feeling it. And when they just keep talking about, like, they just see the end and stuff like that, it's like, if you only see the end, it's because you're ending. To me, it would be like, if you only see the end, it's because you're leaving. It's the end of this for you. You're going somewhere else. You're leaving this game. Your storyline is finished. So, and you're going back, and so many of them all the time anyways want to leave the matrix. They want to, go back. And the whole way they look at life, the whole way they look at reincarnation, the whole way they look at everything is so backwards and upside down. It's going to be such a blessing when everything flips and people have to start really seeing and really understanding, because everybody looks at things in such a distortion, in such a strange way. So I don't know. And there was some notification I saw yesterday on some, and I don't know if this is just somebody who keeps predicting or if they're looking at science stuff, but they were saying, I mean, it was weird yesterday too with the earthquake over by Maryland, but it's supposedly the epicenter was Washington, D.C., and it was felt in Maryland. But then they have the other one over, like, out, was it Maryland or was it New Hampshire? Another one where then they were saying they thought it was explosions, and then they said, no, it's an earthquake, and they've got no power. See, there's going to be more and more of this stuff that's going to keep going, and that is what that area is supposed to go through. The people there are supposed to go through that. That is what their experience has to entail. And we all have different experiences that we're supposed to go through. You know, some of us don't know what it is yet. We're just kind of sitting here waiting and seeing, like, what's next, and not knowing. And that is where you got to constantly keep calming yourself down, like, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. And, like, even and not be thinking, like, oh my God, I'm going to die, because there is no death. Like, there is no death. You don't die. You just change, change forms. You change forms. You don't die. There is no death. That isn't real. So, anyways, there's nothing to fear about. You know, when you sit here thinking, well, my storyline, I don't see anything going past that. I don't see anything after. Don't stress about it. It probably means you're going home. You're going back to, you know, see your friends at home. Go back somewhere different. It's nothing to worry about or stress about. But, man, there sure is a lot of these people, especially that girl yesterday when I saw her, that super spirit. And she's in Southern California, and her whole attitude towards the earthquake and stuff that was happening right then. And it's like, man, do you not know what's going on the planet? Do you not know about, and to sit there and say, like, how great it is, and then she gets to be there in Southern California and experience it and all this stuff. And it's like, fuck, half the fucking country on this side is going to be gone. And what was it? I just saw another map, you know, so I pulled in real close again to look. And, man, this is going to be gone. It's going to be gone. So, like, you know, I don't know. It's just, and I don't know if it's going to be, you know, in 5 months, 5 years, but it's coming. It's coming. And I know whatever is going to happen, it's not like I'm worried. Like, I feel certain that I'm going to be directed to somewhere else and something else, you know. I mean, I feel like I know that I'm here for this next part, because that is, you know, all that I see. It's like my complete drive. It's like what they've been showing me for a long time. It's like, start your engines back. Look, I think it was 2015 or 2016. And so now, look, 2024, it's been almost 10 years on this awakening journey to me. And I see, that's what I think my channel is about. It's more about awakening, more about thinking for yourself, noticing things, paying attention, taking the steps you want in your life. Don't just be a product of your programming. Don't just be a product of your triggers. You can work, you know, spiritually evolve, and it will change all these things, where you'll become better and healthier. And what was that? It's weird too, when all these things, like, you know, you're doing all these things to start becoming healthier and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like Benjamin Buttons now. Like, when I don't even know, because I can't see that good on my skin. I don't know if it is changing, like, wrinkles, if it's making wrinkles go away, if it's changing, like, the texture and stuff. I don't know, but the hair thing is tripping me out. So anyways, I was feeling like fucking Benjamin Buttons. It's like you start going backwards in your aging. And that's what they're saying, though, with these med beds, that we're going to keep going backwards. It's this lifestyle. It's this toxic lifestyle that is deteriorating us. And then they call it aging. And it's deteriorating people's minds, their bodies. But that is where the hair is showing that you are lacking something. So anyways, when I was telling my mom that, that's where she started saying, well, I'm going to get one then. You know, because I kept trying to get it across. Like, yeah, but your hair turning gray is showing you you're lacking in these enzymes. You'll die. And so then she said she was going to get one. She said she can't afford it right now. If I had the money, I would just get her one and send it to her. But I was really curious, too, to see, like, man, when your hair is all silver like that, then what will happen? And just on some of those website things of all those silver foxes, and there's a lot of really pretty women out with silver hair, too. There's a lot of really good-looking people that have really silver hair. It's like, oh man, but then you look at them as like, oh my gosh, that is like a sign that you're dying. It's like, look, I don't know. I don't know. It just is how I'm looking at it now. For mine to be turning so fast. And man, I don't know. Anyways, so it's been an hour and a half. And let me think. It seemed like that there was more things I wanted to talk about. But I don't know. Maybe I covered everything I was supposed to cover. So we'll see. There's supposed to be stuff going on with the banks. There's supposed to be stuff going on with the government. Like, there's so much stuff going on. I can't even get over the people think like, well, nothing's happening. And we're just going to be stuck like, oh, we got to wait till November. Maybe November. It's like, which to me is so asinine. It's like, well, you need to be paying attention to the last few because they've been blatantly trying to let us know about what's going on in November. And everybody just keeps like, well, maybe this one will be different than the last one. I don't know. It's like, well, I doubt it. Doubt it's going to be any different. Even they got Joe out there saying stuff. Like, he's got to be keeping his foot and fist in his mouth all the time because, you know, it's, I don't know, just to try and get people to wake up. This whole thing is to try and get people to wake up, pay attention, start talking, start thinking for yourself, start acting, because it's all coming fast. It's like a locomotive is coming up behind you. And a lot of people are going to feel it hit into them as they're going. And they'll be like, what the hell happened? And it's the locomotive of change. Everything is turning the other direction. It's going to flip everybody's world upside down. So you got to just, you know, go with the flow. And, but, you know, to me, those of us who are aware of this happening, it's going to be good. It's going to feel good. But I'm telling you, don't go into that nasty persona. Or if you do, you know, that's your lessons. It's your lessons. You want to go be hateful to people and ridicule people and tell them how stupid they are and make fun of them and stuff. And then even to duet it and sit there, you know, like, God, there's this nastiness in some people that, but that's the part that they're exposing. That's the part that will be seen. It will be seen through a different light. Right now it's being seen through one, but the light will come on and it will be seen a lot different. And the people will feel the shame from their own attitude, the disconnect from their own soul. They'll try and make excuses for themselves and say, well, it was this, but you can't hide from yourself. There's no excuse that's going to make you feel better. You have to do whatever it is, you're healing. You go in and figure out, like, why was I being so nasty? Why was I being so hateful? What in me is making me be so divisive towards others? Why do I want to see somebody else fail? Why do I want to, you know, and I think some of it comes to even, you know, being disregarded, not being listened to, feeling devalued for themselves. Well, then you got to go into that. Well, why do I feel like other people have to listen to me to give me value? Why do I feel that that is, you know, so you just keep going backwards. You keep looking backwards at things, keep trying to decipher and take things apart to understand yourself. And, you know, and that's going to be a part of it. You know, we'll see how capable everybody is at doing it. Because a lot of people, they're just lost. They're just lost in primitive thinking. Ignorance is the pool of ignorance. A lot of people, it's comfortable because it's it's a crowded pool. A lot of people in it. So nobody feels alone. So anyways, But there should be this week should be a lot of stuff going. There should be just clicking and change, constant, constant, constant. But you still got to be ready for anything, because we do have cataclysm stuff happening. But I still say, don't be in fear, even though it's scary. I mean, a lot of us, everybody's got somebody who lives in California. A lot of us do. And we just got to be like, okay, we just got to trust, I know my brother, that they've already got their place on Salmon River, and that their retirement got moved up. And I think he may be like a year and a half out from retirement. But, it's like, you gotta, sometimes the dates got to change. Sometimes you got to change your dates. The universe will push you all the time. It's like, why are you set on this? What are you set on this? Why aren't you listening to us? Why aren't you paying attention to the weather? Why aren't you paying attention to what's going on in the world? What do you got this date for? That's where you got to start realizing, looking at things different. I mean, it's just a way to break your own patterns, to recognize yourself, to see why am I sitting? Why does it have to be that? Well, we got these dates. These are the days we're going to retire. Well, the whole city is blowing up and falling apart. So maybe if we want to go live peacefully on a river, we better get to moving before the whole fucking place collapses. And then you got fucking people trying to walk out of there. You're in a giant caravan of people trying to escape California. In New York, too, has got so much shit going down. Like, ugh, there's places to me, Chicago, there's a lot of places that are pushing people hard to get the hell out. But, everybody's got their own story, their own storyline, their own part to play. You can't control anybody. Everybody's got to, here to learn their own lessons. And if you can see the stuff, you just got to sit back and just watch the show. Just watch it. Even though it is painful to watch. It's hard. It's hard to watch people just do stupid shit. It's hard to watch somebody try and tie their shoe when they don't know how. It's hard to watch somebody try and learn how to drive. All these things to try and learn and to do better, to grow and stuff. It's hard to watch. So, but that is part of, the parts that some of us have come to play is sit back and shut up and watch. Just let them learn. That's what they're here to do. So anyways, we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. And yesterday when I did a little short, because I wanted to show, because there was some people who had been commenting about Stella's foot, saying, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? So I did a little short so I could show, because the split in her nail, and the relief of finding, oh, it's an injury, thank God it's not cancer, because I'm fighting everything with it, and it just to keep getting worse and worse. It's like, oh man. And so it's relief, for an injury. But she's miserable. You can hear how miserable she is. She's like whining, like, oh, this sucks. I'm gonna keep being like, just let me cut it off. Let me cut it off and it'll feel better. But so that video unexpectedly just started going really fast. It was up to like 1,300 views. It was going real quick, and then it just dead stops. And that's what they do on my Twitter. I mean, not on my Twitter, on my TikTok and on my YouTube. And yesterday I was looking at something on YouTube. I maybe was looking at my thing while it was downloading or something. And so it has all my other videos right there. And I saw them flip the numbers back. I've seen it so many times. They just take my numbers and flip them back. And so, all I know is that there's interference. And I know that there was lawsuits that were going, class action lawsuits, from the interference with these platforms are doing to interfere with people making money. And it's a big thing. And so, they've been interfering this whole time on mine, flipping it back, holding it, especially when a video is going and going and going and going real fast and then just dead stops. It's like just dead stops. It happens all the time. And to me, they always have 1.3, 1.8. And it's 1 point, I have one on 1.7 too. But there's a certain point where it's just like, like when you prepay at the gas station, you go out and it starts going real slow when it's getting closer to your amount. That's what it seems like it does, that they just do something. But I literally saw them flip the numbers back. And they only flip it back like, I think like around 9. I've seen them flip it back 9 at one time. I've seen them flip it back 3, 5. So they'll just flip back a few numbers real quick. And then they'll take away comments. They'll take away people who go in and follow you. They'll just kick them off. Just kick them out. And they'll bind comments so I don't see comments. I'll just run across one and then I'll answer it. And I'll be like, oh my God, this is 6 months old? I had no idea. Because they don't give me notifications of shit. And I don't know. They're really trying to interfere a lot right now with my accounts. So anyways, there's a universal energy that is, the real power. Is the power of change. So we'll see what things change into. We'll see how it goes. Just, to me, just strap up and keep on. See, I really don't see how these people don't see anything happening and just full of hate and don't understand. Man, this is wild. So anyways, there's going to be a lot that's going to be going on when the lights come on. So many people who think they're awake are going to see the truth and really realize this side of themselves, the spiritual side of themselves, this nasty side of themselves. So anyways, there's a lot. So I'll just end it here, and we'll see what this day brings. Hopefully a lot of good stuff, and we'll see. So I'll be back tomorrow to update you on whatever's going on in my life, as long as the powers that be allow it. So I'll talk to you later.